Michelle, are you ready?
I was born ready.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, and podcast host who serves on the National Faith Advisory Council. She supported Donald J. Trump for president before it was cool. From her she shed in her beautiful backyard, this is the Michelle Moore Show.
Palisades are burning bright, organ trucks nowhere inside, budget cuts, hydrants dry, no water in supply. Hearst fire, Kenneth fire, Eaton fire, please retire, climate change, Trump's deranged, the LA fires are not contained. Burn, baby, burn! Karen Bass is on the scene, rejecting almost everything. Smelt fish, droughts and wind, this is all Trump's fault again. Transgenders fighting fires, DEI, that's not satire. Forest dry, flames are high, California say goodbye. I didn't start the fire. No, I didn't light it and refused to fight it. I didn't start the fire. That's misinformation, get an education.
I love it. Oh, my word. I have so much to tell y'all. We got so much to cover. The Michelle family got a lot to talk about today. The first thing is, okay, so, we're talking about the whole, obviously that video is about the fires in California. Producer Ron, we have a video, an update for you about what has been going on in California, what old Mayor Bush has done, and what the results are of what she has done. So let's take a look. So it's ABC7 is reporting how many permits have been issued. So let's take a look.
We want to get going.
The Palisades rebuilding. Residents at this city council committee hearing held on the west side were here to discuss how to move forward.
The blessing here is that we have been given an opportunity to show the world how you do disaster relief and rebuilding effectively.
But the Department of Building and Safety told the committee so far it has approved just 4 permits. Councilmember Tracy Park, who represents the Palisades, says that's not acceptable.
When I hear in a committee meeting like we had today that only 4 permits have been issued and we're on day 75 post-fire, that is concerning to me. And I don't think it is necessarily a lack of interest in rebuilding. I suspect it is indicative of systemic issues that we need to continue to focus on.
Mayor Karen Bass hired a private consulting firm to oversee the recovery effort. The contract with Haggerty Consulting is $10 million, and some council members say that raises questions.
We have city departments who know how to do this recovery, who have been involved in recovery efforts of the past, and yet they can't be afforded the opportunity to hire the personnel that they need. But we can give a $10 million contract to an outside agency to help write a report for us. For me, just is it's obscene.
Some worry the city is in such a delicate financial situation, it could make the recovery efforts and even dealing with routine city services that much more difficult. The city is facing a budget deficit of $1 billion next year.
The loss of business and tax revenue is going to impact us. I mean, we are looking at hundreds of billions of dollars in economic losses overall here. And I don't think there is any real easy way to sugarcoat this. It's a mess.
All right. So a couple of things here, just in case you missed it. So Mayor Karen Bass hired a private consulting firm, and now she has given them some kind of a contract that's worth $10 million. There are city departments that could actually do this. All they need to do is be able to have the funding to be able to hire the personnel and to be able to move forward. So we're talking about a private consulting firm. First of all, who owns the private consulting firm? Do they have any kind of background and relationships of any kind, whether they be familiar as far as family? Are they blood related? Are they related some way with a fraternity, a sorority, any kind of Freemasonry? I want to know the details. And is it owned by China? I'd like to know that too. So anyways, you're talking about over 6,000 homes that were injured in one way or another, burned in some, capacity, whether partial or completely. And you're talking about you've only addressed 4 and been able to give 4 building permits. So only 4 permits have been issued. This is complete insanity. We're talking about day 75. If Trump was over there being the mayor and taking care of this, I can tell you right now, there had already been 6,000 permits issued. as long as 6,000 people had filed for it. And so this is complete insanity. So I thought we'd have a funny little video at the beginning, but wanted to give you some backstory too, obviously, about the fires and what's going on, and thought that really related. Want to give you a kind of a programming note for tomorrow. So we got a special show tomorrow. I don't know why I just sang that, but I did. And so it's going to be a little different. It's going to be fun. And that's all I'm going to tell you. We'll share at the beginning what inspired the idea. I'll give you the whole backstory. But one of the things that are going to be included is, I'm going to give you a little hint. Men, you're going to want to watch tomorrow. Why? Why, Michelle? Why do I want to watch? Well, Joe, let me tell you. So the quickest a man's point has ever been proven in history will be shown tomorrow. In fact, it may be the very beginning of the show. We'll see. So anyway, so we're going to give you the whole deets tomorrow, but just the quickest a man's point has ever been proven in history will be shown tomorrow. All right. I love it. Also, producer Ron's been working very hard. Don't know if you've ever heard of Kay Griggs, but she was married to a man who was part of the Illuminati. His name was George Griggs, just in case you're not familiar. And she talks in almost an 8-hour interview about Satanism in the military. And so it's Satanism in the military. He was in the Marine Corps. He was a colonel. And when Georgie Poo used to get drunk, because he had a drinking problem, which how could you stay sober being in all this, I'm sure. But he'd get diarrhea of the mouth and he'd start blabbing off everything to her. And so she does this interview that's almost 8 hours long, and we're going to be running it in its entirety throughout the weekend. So just wanted to let you know on truthtalkamerica.com, the Rumble channel and the network, all of that. Anywhere you see Truth Talk America, you'll be able to see this as well. I don't know. Producer Ron, is it going to be on the Michelle Moore Show Rumble channel as well? Let me know. Okay, so yeah, that's the scoop. And man, one of the things, this is why it's going to happen this weekend. I told producer Ron, because we've been talking about this. He said yes on the Michelle Moore Show as well. So you can watch Michelle Moore Show Rumble channel, and we'll have it on here for you. One of the reasons why it's going to air this weekend is because she's just been on my heart, like some parts of that interview. One of the things she talks about in great detail is how the people that are elected, a lot of them are not the ones that are in control of what's going on. So, I don't know, just like this whole private consulting firm, but even DC, she talks about Washington and she talks about who's really in control. And so I think a lot of what we're finding out about with our money and Doge and who's doing what, you've got rogue court judges, you got a lot of different people, but who is pulling those strings? Who's doing the blackmailing? And so I think it's going to be very interesting for many people. Taco Ride says, might be interesting to see who the 4 were that got the permits. That's right, Taco Ride. That's right. I like the way you think. That's absolutely true. So anyway, so mark your calendars this weekend, Kay Griggs, and that entire interview, almost 8 hours. It's good. It's a really good interview. And she is just telling it all, by the way. Okay, so I got an email this morning, a lady asking about what was going on with Wave Watch and their update. So the update is for the 2.0. If you have the 1.0 watch, which is more square, the larger watch that has been around, for a couple of years, that style, that's not the one that got the update. It's what they call the 2.0, and it's the smaller face, it's round. And so they've come out with a newer updated firmware for it. And so we covered that when we had Linda on last week. You might want to take a look at that video. You can always go to the Rumble channel for Truth Talk America, or it's probably easier on Michelle Moore Show. But to find it, if you go through the videos and the shows and everything on Rumble, you'll be able to see it. So where she was on last week, and that is where we discussed it in great detail about what all was going on with the 2.0 and some of the upgrades that they've decided to do. They have it in rose gold and graphite. And I'm really excited because what this firmware update did was allow for the battery to be able to last longer. So anyways, I also wanted to tell you, just as an aside note, I checked the rose gold watch. I remember thinking, rose gold or black? Nobody's going to buy rose gold. It's outselling the graphite, the black, 3-1. I checked this morning, 3-1. I totally missed that one. Producer Ron says he's going to put the show link, the one that was the interview that I did with Linda Bammer last week, who is the founder of Wave Watch, in today's show description. So if you go to the show description on Rumble, on the Michelle Moore Show or Truth Talk America's Rumble channel, you'll see it there. Okay, so let's keep going. There's just so much going on. I just, at times, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so much to keep up with. And of course, yesterday we didn't do a live show. And so it's like, you see so much and you think, oh, we got to cover that on the show. And then it's, oh, I got to cover that. Oh, this is good. We need to be talking about this. And so it's just all over the board. I was talking with Andrea this morning. She's a lady that has been doing the beauty product testimonials, reviews. And I happened to speak with her this morning because she had done another review. And so I was watching the video and she said, I really like your show because it's not all politics. And I thought to myself, I didn't say anything to her, but I thought to myself, I've been thinking it's more of almost like a variety show. I'm just not sure. Like, it used to be variety shows. People would call their shows a variety show. And I'm not sure exactly what that means. And so for us, it's just, we can cover all kinds of things. People say, what's your show about? I'm like, it's about the truth about education, politics, medical. It's the truth about religion. It's the truth about all of that stuff. And so, and politics is just a small part of it. And so it's whatever's really going on that, is what we got to dig into to see what's really up. What's up? It's where you come to find out what's really going on and what the truth is about so many things that we have thought before, which reminds me of something that's for a part of tomorrow, which is really funny. So anyways, we'll see. So KM Sunshine 1974 said, is Linda Bammer still seeing selling the 1.0 watch? No, she's not selling it anymore. However, if you have a 1.0, and you are planning to update to the 2.0, and your 1.0 watch is perfectly fine, and it is running great and all of that, you just want the new one, please reach out to me if you don't have somebody else that you're planning to give it to and you're not planning to keep it as a backup, okay? Because we have a few people that remember when we did Michelle Aganza a couple of months ago and people wrote in. We do still have a few people that really do need Wave watches. Now, we actually helped somebody get one this last week because we had somebody. That's where I'm getting the idea from. I had a viewer who reached out and said, I'm upgrading to a 2.0. I have this 1.0. Do you have somebody that you think could really use the 1.0? I'd like to donate it if so. And I, of course, immediately thought of somebody specific. And so we're constantly helping people with getting watches behind the scenes and stuff. I've not ever really, asked people, hey, if you upgrade, will you please reach out? But it had been on my mind this last week. And so I've got it in my notes today to ask you today. So if you have a 1.0, the square, and you're wanting to upgrade to a 2.0, and you don't have somebody else you want to give the 1.0 to, and you don't want to use it as a backup or whatever, or for me, I'll unplug one to use it and then put the other one on the charger. So I'll swap them out. And so, but if you want to give away, if you have a 1.0 that you'd like to give away and you don't have somebody to give it away to, please reach out to me. And in the subject line of the email, just put like 1.0 or Wave Watch 1.0 so I'll know and it'll stick out. And sometimes I have to do a search. So I did check, and I have over 44,000 unread emails. And I will tell you, we do the best we can to go through and read everything, and it's just a lot. And so it's more than, even with an assistant, I can only do so much. And so there are so many details that we take care of for people, different things, whether it's ivermectin and just a lot of stuff going on that you guys aren't even aware of. So I just want to make sure that you realize, like, we're doing the best we can. So by 9 o'clock, I assure you, I've already read a good 50 to 100 emails. And then you got text messages, DMs. And so I just want to remind you, if you write to me two things, I'm going to give you two pointers. The first one is keep it short. I skim text messages, emails, all that. I skim. And so because I have to, and especially now I'll read a text or an email if it's 2 to 3 sentences. If you get into paragraphs, I'm just going to start skimming because I can't. It's too much. And so you gotta work with me here, get to the point. And so the other thing is, if you've written me and I didn't reply, that doesn't mean I didn't skim it or email it, but you can resend it. And sometimes it could be that I read it and I meant to email you back, and somehow I got distracted with something else. You have to realize, I mean, I can be in the middle of a text message with somebody and I've moved on to something else. And so I may not respond back to that person who's texting with me for a day or two. And so because something else came along. And so I just, you have to work with me. We really do try to communicate with everybody. And then when we go to North Carolina, that is not the time to email me, because I will literally get 1,000 or more emails in 3 days. And to go back through those emails, we try, but we can only do so much. And so I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how best, if it's important and I didn't reply, you can always resend it. And I'll do my best, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. But I got to thinking about it the other day, and I looked, and it's over 44,000 emails that are unread, and it's just a mountain that it's just the best we can do. So and I think really in the grand scheme of things, we're probably the most accessible. We've had people, our own viewers, say that to us as well. We try to be the most accessible and helpful we can to everybody that we can possibly be. And that's why I read the emails, why we do the DMs and the text messages. And so we're doing the best we can, but it's a free show. And so, we can only afford so much. And so my assistant works 1 day a week. And so we're, and then we're working, producer Ron and I work 7 days a week. So pretty much. So just wanted to give you that kind of heads up and say, it doesn't mean it wasn't important. We may not have seen it or something else came along. And I will be honest too with this as well. And that is that, sometimes I go back to find it, to reply, and it gets just buried so quickly that it's going to take me 10 minutes to find it, hopefully. And, I just don't, it's 10 minutes I don't have to look. So just wanted to explain that and hope that everybody understands. So Kazadu 77 says, it's the everything show. Well, you never know what you're going to get when you tune in. Okay. So that reminds me, before we move on to the next thing that I've got on my list, we got some reviews. So here's the deal. I love to give stuff away. Y'all know that, right? All right. So we've gotten a lot of testimonials on godlygranny.com. And y'all know, like, Godly Granny's the new baby. And so, but we have not gotten 100. We're close. Okay. So here's what you can do. We have a $50 gift card that was gifted to the Michelle Moore Show. Okay. We didn't buy it. Somebody else bought it. And it was a whole story. So producer Ron, I want to say her name was Nancy, viewer Nancy. So viewer Nancy wrote us an email. He says, yes. So viewer Nancy wrote us an email. This was about a month or so ago. And she had said we could give it away when we wanted to, just whenever there was another Michelle Aganza or whatever. And so today's the day. You know how you can win. So I'm going to tell you, if you go to Godly Granny and you leave godlygranny.com. Thank you, producer Ron. Right before the show, he goes, well, I'm not really sure the order. We're going to go over things today. So it's just the blind leading the blind. And I go, oh, honey, I'm not blind. It's the blonde leading the blind. But anyways, so I said, there's a difference. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to read a couple of the testimonials. But if you leave a testimonial, when you do that, it emails me. So before the end of the show, I'm going to look and see if we've had enough, because I know what number we're at. Well, I kind of do. Producer Ron's going to have to message it to me again. I don't remember for sure. So I had him look, because he can look in the system and see how many testimonials or reviews, we've gotten. Now we have a $50 Godly Granny gift card. You see where this is going? Right? So whoever is the 100th, I'm glad that you messaged me, producer Ron, because it was a different number than what you said. So I know how many I need for sure now. And so we'll see if we receive that number of reviews during the show. Whoever is the 100th review, we're close, but whoever is the 100th review will get the $50 Godly Granny gift card. And you'll have to be in touch with producer Ron because we're going to give you an extra 20% off. And so producer Ron's like, oh, geez. And so he doesn't know this. And so we're going to give you a special code to get 20% off to make your $50 be $60. Is that not awesome? So I just wanted to give you a heads up about that. So if you go to Godly Granny, to the product that you love, and place a review, it will email me. I will check my emails before the end of the show, and let's see if we received enough of those, and it will be in order, and I'll be able to know which one was the 100th review. Deal? All right. So if we don't get it before the end of today's show, if it has happened by tomorrow's show, we will announce the winner tomorrow. Should be enough though for today. It's not that many. Hint, hint. So, okay. So we did get a number of reviews this morning, and I wanted to tell you. So let's see here. Janice, I got to tell you, Janice might be the one she must have decided, okay, I've used all my stuff and now I'm ready to review it, because Janice sent a number of reviews this morning. So the first one is on the First Fruits Face and Body Lemon Balm. Love it, by the way. I love this balm. She says it also helps to calm my eczema. Definitely will continue to purchase. Thank you. That's awesome, Janice. She said also, let's see, 5-star review also on the Magnesium Boost Pain Cream with vitamin D3 and MSM. She says, absolutely have to keep this in stock at my home. It has helped myself and one of my sons. The pain is gone within minutes. She goes, thank you. We're getting some amazing testimonials from people that have pain issues between that and the plant-powered pain gel. That's awesome. And then viewer Janice also said 5-star review on the moisturizing lip scrub with vitamin C. She goes, I just got these delivered yesterday and I saw results this morning. Love, love, love it. Okay, don't forget, if you buy 2 or more of the lip scrubs or the lip masks and or of the little lip scrubs and lip masks, you get one of these little lip scrubber tools for free. It's a Godly Granny lip scrubber. So you got the teal, the blue, the pink, and the white. Don't know which color you'll get. They come packaged individually for every 2 you buy. So if you buy 4, you get 2 scrubbers. If you buy 6, you get 3. So isn't that awesome? All right. So I was thinking about it today. If you have already purchased 6 or more lip scrubbers or lip masks then write me an email and tell me. And if you can tell me your order numbers, that would be great. I will send you a lip scrubber, okay, at no charge. And I'll pay the shipping. But you have to have already ordered 6, because one scrubber, it's too expensive. You're going to have to ship it. You just need to order 2 more with your next order, and you'll get one anyways. So, but if you've ordered 6 and, or more, then I will send it to you, okay? And I'll send you, if you've ordered 6, I'll send you 3. So, but you have to have already ordered them. Okay. So just a heads up on that. But we just released these 2 days ago. They're free. They're not on the website to purchase. They are only giveaways, freebies for you. In fact, by the way, I just ordered another 300 last night. So because I love them that much, they're just amazing. They're just too cute. They're heart-shaped lip scrubbers. Like, who wouldn't love that? So anyway, wanted to give you that update and heads up on that. Producer Ron's like, my goodness, all kinds of stuff going on. All right, so let's go on ahead and go back. The homeless, what's going on in the city of Industry, which is in California, which is also eastern Los Angeles County. Let's take a look at the craziness that is going on there.
Fires, tons of trash, and vandalism at the storage lot in the city of Industry. About 50 RVs that are supposed to be vacant have been broken into and turned into a place to stay for the homeless.
People just started coming in, taking ownership of them, and they started, vandalizing them, living in them, breaking the windows.
The lot is leased out to multiple entities, including the RV company Black Series and the Nissan dealership across the street. Dealership employees keep their personal cars and overflow cars here too. And they've dealt with fires, stolen tires, and... Some
of my colleagues actually did say they had altercations with some people over there, but we don't want it to get to that point.
It's been 8 months of this mess, according to Torres, and the finger is being pointed to clean it up. A statement from the city manager, Joshua Nelson, said in part, the city does not own the site. This is a private trespass dispute between the property owners and a private party. The city is working with the property owners and helping to coordinate cleanup efforts at the site. LA County Supervisor Hilda Solis also chiming in, saying in part, I engaged the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Homeless Outreach Services team to conduct outreach, and they will be returning this week to continue their efforts. One man who says he works for the property manager tells us they're bringing in bulldozers.
This week or the next week, we're going to start cleaning up the mess and disposing of the trailers and so forth.
Black Series, the RV company, says they've planned on selling these RVs. Some of them go for upwards of $50,000, but it'll be tough given some of them look like this one. Live in the City of Industry.
Okay, so I'm wondering what happened to that one? Were they living there and there was a fire? Like, what happened? I mean, I guess insurance is going to cover this. And by the way, what are they going to do with the homeless people? So they're going to come and bulldoze everything. But what about the homeless people? Is this more of just shuffling things around and not fixing what really is going on? Like, it's just so much going on that it's really unfortunate. Okay. So we're going to keep moving on. The next thing I wanted to talk with you about is, you know how we've been talking about the Roman pyramid of power? It's my favorite image. You know, I talk about it all the time. And it's the Tri-City states. You got religion, and then you've got, of course, the war and terror. Thank you, producer Ronnie knows. And then, of course, you got money and finance with the city of city of London. But at the bottom of the pyramid, if you look, it says NGOs, think tanks, and big charities. Okay. And so it's called the Roman Pyramid of Power. I've seen different takes from this and this one is just the best one that I've seen. And I've held on to this for quite a few years now. Ever since I saw it, I was like, this is an amazing image. Well, big charities. So, you know, I've been talking about it. Those of you that watch all the time know all the time, there she goes. She's talking about it because, you know, I've said, I smell skunk when it comes to these big charities. They know we have big hearts. I was just talking the other day about whatever happened to that big fundraiser that was at prime time. I remember it was on a Friday night and they did it right after 9/11 and they collected like all this millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars from we the people. And whatever happened? Did we ever know who it was that received any of that money? Did you ever meet a firefighter's widow? You know, anybody at all that got to keep their home or put their kids in college because of the money that was collected at that telethon? I don't know anybody. I never have seen a post on social media. You would think if they did good with all that money that we would have known it somewhere that money would have gone to. Okay, so I see this video this morning and I'm like, this is so good. So this is about the British. This is Katie. I forget her last name. She is Milo's mother. Katie Hobbs. I don't know why I want to say Hobbs. I don't know. I don't remember what her last name is. But anyways, she goes by Katie. She's an older lady. She's British. You'll hear her. Listen to what she's saying that's going on during Red Nose Day.
You shouldn't laugh, right? Shouldn't laugh. But it's Red Nose Day here in the UK. And it's one of these days where you're supposed to give money for charity. But in the past, Red Nose Day was associated with like celebrities being sent to Africa to look at some orphanage and hear a sad story and cry a bit, and then people would donate. And that's kind of the legacy of Red Nose Day. But now, because 24-hour challenges are the thing, they've got two presenters roller skating for 24 hours. I just heard them this morning and they sound like they sound really pissed off. And no one's donated any money because everyone's sick of the whole big charity thing. We just had whatever the other one is, Comic Relief. No one wants to give any money to anyone else. And if you're going to, you just give it to someone locally and put it in their hand or pay for their shopping. So you've just got two people skating around for no money, sounding really, really pissed off. And there's just something really funny about that. You know, ultimately Red Nose Day is sat on a whole load of stuff, right? They've got a capital stores that they used to pay for their big buildings, their fancy offices, their staff salaries and all the rest of it. So if they wanted to, they could just donate that massive amount that they've got saved away. But instead they want people to give more money and kind of British people at this point, because we've been absolutely raped by our own government for taxes. We're just getting council tax bills for £2,000, £4,000. People have had enough. But just still the idea of getting what's it. Nearly being in tears, raising no money. Paddy McGuinness on his yellow chopper that raised I don't know how many million must be just quietly laughing to himself. That's probably not funny at all.
She's always so funny. Okay, so, I find it encouraging, don't you? I think people are waking up. We know we are. We know we're telling other people as well. And it's like, okay, this is encouraging. The British are not giving money. I think it's amazing. So just wanted to share that with you. Like I said, I really found it encouraging. Okay, so a couple of things. All right, the first thing is, if you want to leave you got your favorite things to say about a Godly Granny product, you have to go to that product page on godlygranny.com and leave the review at the bottom. Scroll down to the bottom, leave a review, okay? All right, so I wanted to tell you about that. All right, we're getting ready to show you another video while people are doing that as well. We are going to be having a winner today. I can already see it. It's happening. So, okay, I got to tell you something. So, the NPR, there was a whole testimony thing we're fixing to show you. But it turns out that they have 87 editorial positions that are filled by registered Democrats. Anybody want to guess how many are filled by registered Republicans? So they had 87. So NPR had 87 editorial positions filled by registered Democrats. If you're watching live and you're on Rumble and you want to put it in the chat, everybody's got to guess, like, put in your guess how many people you think have editorial positions that are filled by registered Republicans. Okay, this will be a good one for you. Now you can't cheat if you already know it. Don't say it. But 87 registered Democrats. 87. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. Let's see how many. You're going to find out in the video.
Former senior business editor for NPR.
How long do you work at NPR?
I believe he was there just over 25 years.
25 years? Award-winning journalist? Did he win any awards?
Our time to
Peabody Award? That's pretty important, isn't it?
That is, absolutely.
So pretty distinguished journalist, right?
Certainly.
And he wrote a long story about what you do at NPR. Is NPR biased?
Congressman, I have never seen any instance of...
Never?
Of political bias determining editorial decisions, no.
Well, Mr. Berliner, in his story last year, wrote, in the D.C. area, editorial positions at NPR, he said he found 87 registered Democrats, 0 Republicans. Is that accurate?
We do not track the numbers or the voter registration, but I find that concerning.
Award-winning journalist who worked 25 years at NPR, Mr. Berliner, was he lying when he wrote that?
I am not presuming such. I just we don't track that information about our journalists.
87 to 0, and you're not biased?
I think that is concerning if those numbers are accurate.
It's concerning. I mean, it wasn't 44-43, it wasn't 60-27, it wasn't 70-17, it wasn't even 80-7. It was 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans, and you say NPR is not biased. How about the big stories over the last few years? According to Mr. Berliner, again, he wrote on the Trump-Russia story, he wrote, at NPR, we hitched our wagon to Trump's most visible antagonist, Representative Adam Schiff. He said they interviewed him 25 times. Is that accurate?
I was not there at the time, but those numbers sound accurate. Yes.
Those sound accurate. But then he said when the Mueller report came out and Robert Mueller said he found no evidence of collusion, he said, Russiagate faded from our programming. Is that accurate?
Again, I was not there at the time. I couldn't say.
You couldn't say?
I was not at NPR at the time.
You didn't prepare for that? You knew we were going to ask you about this guy, didn't you? It's come up like 6,000 times already in the hearing.
I just couldn't say whether it faded from our coverage, sir.
How about this story? October 2020, the New York Post had the Hunter Biden laptop story, and one of those editors, I guess one of those 87 Democrat editors, said this: we don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. We don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' times on stories that are just pure distractions. Was that a pure distraction story?
Our current editorial leadership believes that that was a mistake, as do I.
Yeah, the whole country knows that was a mistake. Definitely impacted the election, or I think it certainly impacted the election. How about the COVID origin story? That's a pretty big story too, right? Mr. Berliner said, we became fervent members of the team Natural Origin, even declaring that the lab leak was debunked by scientists. Turns out, though, the lab leak is what most people think actually caused the COVID virus.
Sorry, is there a question there?
There is. You guys were 0 for 3 on the three of the biggest stories in the last 5 years. You guys were 0 for 3, and yet you maintain that NPR is not biased?
Congressman, I do not believe we are politically biased. No, we are a nonpartisan organization.
Nonpartisan organization.
I see a couple of you actually guessed 0. KM Sunshine 1974, producer Ron said that she said less than 10. Yeah, less than 10. Oh my word, these people. And we're supposed to believe they don't know. They don't know that they're not registered, what their registration is as far as whether or not they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Okay, whatever. Okay, so producer Ron just gave me a note and said we're at 111 reviews. Boy, y'all got busy. So that means that we have a winner. Okay. So we will come back to the reviews winner, the $50 gift card, which will essentially end up being $60 because we're giving you a 25% discount. Is that right? That's $62.50. So no, that's right. 20% or 20% off would be $10. So yeah, $60. I was right the first time. Okay. I said I was blonde. Okay. Now, all right. So I have to share. So viewer Janice, who I read the other testimonials, I looked down and there's another review that she wrote. Now, husbands, men, do not email me upset with me about how much your wives are spending on godlygranny.com's website. All right. Godly Granny goodies are goodies, and they're all good for her. So this one is a 5-star review on the head to toe nourishing Noni Plus dry oil with vitamins A, B, C, and of course it's all natural. I got to say, I absolutely love this product. Love it. I love a dry oil. It is literally head to toe. I mean, head to toe. I put it in my hair. You can put it on your cuticles, whether that's on your fingers or your toes. It can go anywhere. I absolutely love a dry oil because I don't like for my hands to feel greasy or whatever. And I don't like lotion. Y'all know that. But I like our butters and our creams because it's not the heavy chemical-y stuff. And so I am absolutely loving it. We got a new release coming out. They're coming. It's coming. And now it's not going to be as huge as the other ones because we're going to do smaller releases closer together. And so all the labels are done. In fact, they were all shipped to me today, the first runs. So that way I have them and for photography and everything. So they're coming and it's exciting because there's some really good stuff y'all are going to be excited about. I don't know why I sang that today. I don't know why I want to sing today. But viewer Janice says, for the dry oil, she says, love this as well. I have purchased a lot of the facial products and will continue to do so. That's the spirit, Janice. She said, I need a second job just for Godly Granny purchases. My skin has never looked so good and felt so soft. That's what I think the same thing. I think the same thing about my skin too. I'm absolutely loving the blue-green algae products, especially the face wash. I am absolutely loving it. And then this particular dry oil goes with any of the skincare lines. And so it has its own look, but it goes at the end of any of them. So you do the whole skincare regimen, and then at the end you add your face oil. Well, that's what the Noni Plus dry oil is. It's your face oil. We're coming out with an acne line very soon, and you'll still use that dry oil at the end. That's the Noni Plus is for everything. It's a one and done on dry oil. Okay. All right. So I saw this video. Now we're going to talk about Nicole Shanahan. So don't know if you know this, but I want to tell you this before you start watching. So Nicole Shanahan was the one that was running with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She was going to be his VP. Remember her? Now she's been married and divorced twice. That's fine. Whatever. Her second marriage, though, was to a guy, Sergey Brin. He was the co-founder of Google. So we hear a lot of times about Larry Page, but Larry was the co-founder, and it was with this guy. So that she was married to. Okay, so of Google. Okay, want to make sure you hear this before you watch the video. So she's done an interview here recently. Now here's my problem with Nicole. I find it very, very hard to believe some of the things that she has said recently. She's just all of a sudden having an epiphany about. And so it's just difficult for me to even like her, much less trust anything that comes out of her mouth. And so that's just me. That's where I'm at. She was married to the co-founder. Have I mentioned that? She was married to the co-founder of Google. Okay, now, So here's you a 2-minute clip almost of her from this interview. And I want you to hear what she has to say, especially about Google. Now, remember, she was married to the co-founder. Let's take a look.
And there is an ego, a belief that they were brought up in a way, many were highly educated, many have professional backgrounds, great degrees from great institutions. But then the wealth sets in. And if you think about the trajectory these women go on once the wealth comes in, usually the wealth comes in not necessarily because their tech husband is this exceptional entrepreneur. It's because what I've realized is that the government helped fund their husband at some point along the way. If you look at like the history of Google or the history of Facebook or the history of Apple, even the history of, you know, not so much Amazon, but like even Hewlett Packard or Oracle, these companies didn't just spring up out of nowhere. They came through institutional backing at some point. In the case of, you know, Facebook and Google, especially, where a lot of these tech wife mafia folks come from, it was Stanford. There's this Silicon Valley Stanford network. And if you look at where some of those grants or money came from, early money especially, and then accelerant money, it came from individuals that had government ties. And so these companies serve government functions as well. Like Google really was involved with the government in helping identify behavior on the internet, and Facebook as well. And so it's no surprise that the intertwining between the Democratic Party, which is so prevalent in California, and these companies has just always been there. That synergy has always been there, and that relationship has always been there.
Okay. So she's saying the government helped fund their husbands along the way. She actually used the word mafia in that interview. Did you hear that? Did you notice it? Okay. So she's just got all of a sudden this revelation, or is it that, you know, all of a sudden she happens to care? I don't know what is going on, but people like this, I still do not trust her. I absolutely do not trust her. She's saying, you know, that look, this accelerant money, in other words, you got a company, it's small, and it gets, what happens when you throw accelerant on a fire? It just explodes, right? It gets much bigger. So in other words, these companies, they had accelerant money, at her words, not mine, from people with government ties. So who runs the government? Oh, the Illuminati. I mean, come on. And her husband was part of this. She was married to him, by the way, from 2018 to 2023. So you're talking about just a year and a half ago, she got a divorce. So you're talking about 5 years roughly. And so I'm just saying, I'm having a hard time with Nicole Shanahan in every way possible, having a hard time with her, believing her, trusting her. She's talking about institutional backing. Okay. Is the institutional backing for us or against us? Just asking. I mean, you know, who exactly is institutional backing? And so when I watch that video, just so you know, I'm reminded of Kay Griggs, the lady I was talking about at the beginning of today's show, talking about the almost 8-hour interview, who she was married to a man, didn't know it up front, who was part of the Illuminati. He was a colonel. And so George Griggs, and she's going to get into the gay thing and all that stuff that they, you know, are doing in the Illuminati. She confirms a lot of stuff that we've heard. And so in her interview, I mean, it's almost 8 hours. And so, by the way, the lady that we were watching a little while ago, her name was Katie Hopkins, and I looked it up, and she's actually a comedian. I didn't know this, but she is always funny. So it says she's doing a UK and Ireland stand-up tour in 2025, but she's really funny. She does a lot of stuff that I've seen that's mostly politically related. And so, and she's on X, she's at K T, and then Hopkins, Hopkins, as in Sam, if you want to listen to her or follow her on X. I've been following her, gosh, probably close to 5 years now. So anyways, that's the deal. Okay, so we're going to go over one more thing, and then we're going to give away the $50 Godly Granny gift card. And so we'll actually, you know what? I think we're going to do that now. So let's just go ahead and do that now. And so that way this can be handled while we're still live on the air. So producer Ron told me, and I double checked, and it was the exact same. I looked through my emails and counted, and it is Rochelle. And he says that that's Die Laughing online. So Rochelle, if you'll email me, Michelle@NashvilleMichelle.com, your phone number, so that we can get you in touch with producer Ron. And that way we can make sure you get a little extra special deal when you place your order, honey. You don't have to place it today. You can place it whenever you want to, but we just want to make sure that we have your information so that when you're ready, you can let us know and he'll take care of you. Yes, congratulations. Congratulations. That's a great gift card. And thank you, viewer Nancy, for the gift. That's so sweet, so kind. All right, so we covered all kinds of stuff on today's show. Okay, one last thing I want to cover today. We haven't really talked a lot about this, but take a look here. This is something that I retweeted. So Shadow of Ezra said, describe Jasmine Crockett in one word. I retweeted and said, how much do you know about fraternities and sororities? And what's she doing? She's doing that Freemason stuff, right? And so that ended up leading us to where there were some other people, because I said, how much do you know about fraternities and sororities? And so we had this gentleman, Michael E. He goes, his handle is at OKBoy1963. He responded and had a number of things for us. And so I just want to say thank you. He actually shared a link. And producer Ron, if you'll share that link here on the screen as well. But it ended up where a couple of people started sharing some things. And one of the things, looky here. So this was actually, it says the fraternity sorority Greek members in the 113th Congress. Now, this is kind of small, so it may be hard for you to see, but I wanted to, I've got it on my phone so I can kind of blow it up a little bit. So let's start alphabetically. The first one is Lamar Alexander. He was a Sigma Chi Republican, Tennessee. You got Kelly Ayotte. She's Republican. New Hampshire. She was a Delta Gamma. You move on down a little bit. Let's see here. Richard Burr. He's from North Carolina. Republican, Kappa Sigma. Wow. I think, okay, there are Democrats on here because I was starting to wonder. Mitch McConnell was also in a fraternity. And of course, he's a Republican, Kentucky. Lisa Murawski, Arkansas. And let's see, just kind of skimming through here as we're on here. Let's see, who else we got? Karen Bass. Oh, interesting. The lady that, only the 4 building permits. That's interesting. Democrat out of California. She's on this list. Marsha Blackburn, out of Tennessee. That's interesting. Mo Brooks out of Alabama. Susan Brooks out of Indiana. See where this is going? There's a lot of people on here. Wow. Lots of people on here. Okay, then we also, thank you so much, Michael E., for sharing this. He's got some good stuff. And then we have a website. So there is a website link. Have you shared that, producer Rod? I know it's going to be in today's show description. So there's an updated list. It's Greek members of the 119th Congress. And so it will show you. And guess who's on here? Jasmine Crockett. You remember the lady from, there you go. She's on here. What do you know? What do you know? She is part of a sorority. And so you get to looking through here. This is part of something that really hasn't been mentioned a whole lot. Really, the only person that I've been seeing who's been consistently explaining the fraternities and the sorority stuff more than anybody has been Lynn Wood. He has put a lot of stuff on his Telegram page, but through the years. So if you haven't been following him, then this may be kind of a little bit new. Now, there was somebody, and I don't remember if it was Michael E. or someone else, but they put a link to a video, and we're going to play the first 52 seconds of this interview. So this is talking about demonic hazing. The great thing about this woman, her name is Melissa, Malissa Blair, Melissa. And so she was on Lala Jenkins' show. And it's interesting because she talks about the fraternities and sororities. Her grandfather was somebody who was a janitor, and yet he ended up living in a really, really nice house. In the interview, you end up finding out a lot of details about that and how she was, just really generationally, her whole family was all up in this stuff. And so it was interesting. But what happened was the Holy Spirit, she gave her life to the Lord, and the Holy Spirit started really working on her. And so she ended up denouncing it. But she was a Delta Sigma Theta. And she talks about it. And another thing, too, in this interview, it's about a little bit over an hour long. I watched it yesterday. One of the things that I thought was interesting is throughout the interview, you end up hearing a lot about witchcraft. This is something that I've really had to work a lot on, is understanding witchcraft, because, if you've never been a witch, I guess you don't know a whole lot about witchcraft. And so it's hard to spot it. It's like, well, if you've never been a Freemason, you got to learn their symbolism, their signs. So just like we were showing you the whole pyramid she was throwing up, a minute ago in that post that I was talking about, it's like, Jasmine Crockett's throwing up that pyramid. But if you don't know, you don't know. And so, but, and as I was listening to her testimony yesterday and the different things that were going on, I kept thinking to myself what it was that the Holy Spirit was showing me during the time that he was really showing me how to identify evil. Remember, I was talking about that again just here recently, and he was saying, where am I in this? And so as I was listening to the testimony yesterday, I kept thinking about that. It's like, well, that's not in God's, Jesus wouldn't have anything to do with that. That's not in God's word. That's not godly. As you're listening to these things, if you'll just keep what God and God's character, hazing, does that sound like anything God would be a part of or want? No, that's not biblical. That's not a good thing. And so and I remember going back to what God had said. He says, if I'm not in it, it's evil. And so I just want to remind you about that. And so as you're listening to this testimony, I highly recommend that you watch the entire interview. So producer Ron has put the link to this interview in today's show description on our Rumble show, on our Rumble channel. For the Michelle Moore Show and Truth Talk America. I highly recommend that you listen to it. And like I said, I have reached out to her to see if she would be open to coming on our show as well to share about her testimony. But we're talking about somebody who isn't just talking about Freemasonry or isn't just talking about sororities and witchcraft and have learned about it and read books on it. I'm talking she has been there, done that. And so has other people in her bloodline. And she has now given her life to the Lord. Is so good, but she got out of it and she denounced it. But that's what's so good about it, though. But she's got firsthand experiences. And even in the interview early on, she talks about her brother. And I thought that was a very interesting part of the story. So make sure you pay attention to the interview. If you're listening, make sure don't let that pass you by, where she talks about being in the car and he's in the middle. He's 2 years ahead of her in college. See, all this crap goes on in colleges. And so, but you're talking about these people are taking oaths. I mean, just really sit down and think about it. So, but it's Freemasonry in its foundational form. It's all linked. And so it's all interesting. But let's take a look at the very beginning of this 52 seconds here.
We take off in a high-speed chase. Ooh. The big sisters in the pro fights pop out and they start chasing us around the city. I kid you not, this stuff is so crazy. Like, we could have died. And on the top of them chasing us, at the same time, our phones start ringing. And so our phones were dead silent throughout the meeting. Now all of a sudden, our phones start ringing. What we don't know behind the scenes, every single pro fight, they sent around a list of the whole line and all of their phone numbers to all of the former pro fights. Ooh. And so everybody's calling you, and it's chaotic. Who are you with? What you doing? What's my name? Who am I? What you doing? I'm not. And so that's at the same time that we're driving, trying to figure out where we going, whose house we about to go to, like, what are we doing? Like, and so it's total harassment.
Total harassment. Does that sound godly? Does that sound godly? I don't think so. I don't. In the show description, both channels link is too long for the screen. Okay, so talking about the sororities and all that stuff, I'm sure is what he's talking about. So yeah, everything is going to be in the show description on Rumble. Yeah, he says yes. Rules PW says, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing that. If God's not in it, it's evil. I ask myself that in all things now. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, Rules PW, yes. And that's straight from God. Like that was a Holy Spirit thing. So if you got a problem with it, pray about it, because it's all I can tell you. I'm just sharing with you the things that God reveals to me. And so, that's all I can do the way I hear it. I'm not any more special than anybody else. And if God will show me, God will show you. Die Laughing says celebs like Jay-Z and Beyonce often flash the pyramid hand signal to notify their fellow cult members that they are praising the allegiance Satan to their sick secret club. That's right, Die Laughing. You're absolutely right. I used to call Die Laughing D.I. Laughing. I didn't know. And so, and I don't know why I'm doing this. It's like a secret between us. So anyways, and so... I'm in one of those funny moods today. So I got to tell you, Flashmore, I told you all he went to the vet, which was very hard for me to take him. Actually, I didn't even take him. My husband took him. And so, and my son. And so one of my sons, but anyways, and so he has a yeast infection in both ears. One is worse than the other. So he's on these 2 pills. And then he has some drops for both ears as well. And then they think that he got bitten by a spider on one of his little puppy paw pads. And so it's real swollen, and had my husband kind of poked through it and got some pus out of it and stuff. And so, but it still just was real swollen, still is real swollen. So he's also having to have like 7 to 10 minute long Epsom salt baths. And so he's having to have that 3 times a day, and he hates water. Some dogs love water. Flashmore despises water. And so anyway, so we've been having all different kinds of stuff going on at our house. You ought to see us trying to get Flash to take his pills. A little stinker is so smart. So what he did yesterday was I put it in this little treat, this like dried chicken, like freeze dried chicken. And so it's a little bit, where you can push the pill right through it. And so I gave it to him, and he ate the chicken, the freeze dried chicken. And then after I left the room, my husband was still there. He spit the pill out. And my husband's like, what's this? And he goes, Michelle, he spit the pill out. So he's a stinker. So now we know to keep feeding him, not just be done. So now he's getting extra stuff. But he is pathetic, you guys. He's not doing well. He looks terrible. He looks terrible. And his ears are so red and everything. And so y'all just keep him in your prayers. He's sleeping a lot. And then I took him today when I had to go to the post office. So I go to the post office, and we come right back, and he's in the car. He didn't want to get out of his car seat. And so he's never done that, where he just sat there and he put his ears back, and he just looked at me like, Mama, please don't make me get out of the car seat. So I had to, that's what he does. Those ears go back. I'm such a sucker. And so anyways, and so, yeah, that's him trying to get to go somewhere a couple of months ago. And that's what I get. I got both paws up. Usually it's one paw, and then the ears go back. And he's just precious, you guys. Our fur babies are such a gift, aren't they? They're just such a gift. But anyways, all right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. We've done a lot. So you never know what we're going to give away. That's why you got to watch live. You just never know. You never know what I'm going to come up with. And so don't forget too, that if you order 2 of either the lip scrubs, lip mask, or whatever you want to do with those, to every 2, you get a free scrubber. A heart-shaped scrubber. I love them. Don't y'all love them? KM Sunshine 1974 said, Flashmore is in our prayers. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. He's been sleeping a lot too. And he's all about the mama. The other night I went to take a bath, and one of my sons and my husband, they were in the living room, and Flash came in there to lay on the couch with my husband. And my husband said to my son, he goes, look at this. The mama is in the bathtub, so he's in here with us. And my husband said the second he heard me out of the bathtub, he dropped my husband like a hot potato. And a few minutes later, my husband came in there, and there Flash was all cuddled up with me in the bed. Die Laughing said, rub the first fruits, godly granny. Yes. And so we've been doing that a little bit. I didn't think about it until night before last, but yeah, we're doing that. And so, yeah, because it helped you with your wasp sting. I saw that. And so, yeah. So we're going to try that some more tonight. And he used to have kind of rough puppy paw pads. They're way softer than they used to be, but I had been putting some of that First Fruits on it anyways, just to try to help it in general. And so I'm going to do that again. And I did it 2 nights ago and last night. So I'm going to keep doing that. All right. Well, I realized in seeing some viewer emails that I didn't really explain why he had to go to the vet. And so I wanted to tell you guys what was going on. I got numerous emails about that. So I talked about him going to the vet, then failed to mention what was going on. And so I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean to scare anybody. But he's going to be fine. I know it. Just Mama's worried about it. Plus he's looking rough. He's just looking rough. So he don't feel so good. But anyways, it'll all be good. So, all right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's show. We talked a little bit about a lot of different things. Like I said, it's a cover it all kind of day. I love that. And don't forget, tomorrow, we're going to end up finding out what was the quickest a man's, I can't read my own, a point. I was going to say, I can't read my own writing. I'm left-handed. The quickest a man's point has ever been proven in history tomorrow, right here on the Michelle Moore Show. See you right here next time on the Michelle Moore Show.
Trying to get healthier is full of can'ts.
Come on, Grandma, come play. Come play with us, Grandma.
I can't move. So you go to the doctor.
Your body can't figure this out. So take this, and this.
Because your body can't. But is it true your body can't? Maybe your body can. All you need is a little support. Wave Watch is a wearable device that uses sound wave therapy to help your body heal itself. Studies are showing that all cells in our bodies resonate at unique frequencies, and specific sounds can stimulate them. Your body can deal with pain, so you can play hard.
WaveWatch comes with a 1-year manufacturer's warranty for defects and flaws, and you can upgrade to an additional warranty for water damage and breakage. Go to wavewatch.com. Be sure to use the discount code Michelle100 at checkout to receive $100 savings on your purchase.
Hey, Mr. Wonderful here, and I'm here with my gold guy, Dr. Mike Fulges, a silver and gold expert. Hey, Mike, what do we have here?
Today I have a few, actually 50, 2025 $5 gold American Eagles. Each is a 10th ounce of gold and is a starter coin for investors.
So this is the way people can invest. They can buy a whole bunch of coins and just hold on to them, right?
Correct. They have these in 10th ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce, and 1 ounce sizes.
Now, if they want to buy them now, wait a couple of years and sell them again so they have liquidity, can they do that with you?
Immediately. We buy millions every month back from clients.
So you really are the gold guy.
That's why we're America's gold expert.
Did you know your cell phone emits radiation that has been linked to increased risk of certain types of cancers? This is why manufacturers include hidden warnings to keep your phone away from your body. And what's worse is that children are more susceptible to the potentially damaging effects. Safe Sleep for cell phones is a case specifically designed to block radiation. Its shielding technology integrated into the case has been tested in a third-party FCC accredited lab to block over 99% of RF and 92% of ELF radiation emitted by your phone. It also functions as a stand for watching videos and comes in a magnetically detachable style for some devices. Safe Sleeve also offers anti-radiation cases for tablets and laptops and has free shipping in the U.S. plus discounted worldwide shipping is available. Go to truthtalkamerica.com today and click on the Safe Sleep banner on the home page. Use the discount code FIRST10 at checkout for 10% off your first order.
Toxic chemicals are everywhere, even in products we've used for generations. Now, there's a replacement solution, Godly Granny. Godly Granny products are nutraceutical, clean products with purpose. All our products like skin creams, bath bombs, lip scrubs, deodorants, and more are free of the Godly Granny 5 Dirty Dozen list. That's 60 harmful chemicals many other companies use that you'll never find in our products. Go to godlygranny.com today. Be sure and use the discount code Michelle10 at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order.
For Michelle's social media links, go to MichelleMooreShow.com.